Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankara-Acharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahabhiryankaravavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jnananandamaям devam nirmalasphatiकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे. ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः. ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः. So we were looking at the Savishesha Brahma Nirakaranam. So in this, the main argument we are saying is that if you say that Visheshas are there already in a Savishesha Vastu, then all sorts of logical problems will come. Either you will end up with Atmashraya dosha, or Anyonya Ashraya dosha, or Chakraka dosha, or Anavastha. So all these things are there. And if you say it is the Vishesha itself is in a nirvishesha vastu, then you can say it is Vyaghata or contradiction. But we have to say that finally that Visheshas, all the Visheshas end up only in a nirvishesha vastu. And for us it is adhyasika sambandha. Then what is the sambandha between the Vishesha and the nirvishesha ashraya? Means it is only superimposition or adhyasika. And in this context, our author also said that Nacha Drishtanta Asampratipattihi means that means there is no, you can't also say that there is no Drishtanta or an analogy to assimilate this. So there are Drishtantas which are already recognized or which are accepted. And what are they? Even the Nayayikas accept that the Paramanu is Nirguna. Okay, it cannot have a Guna and the Paramanu separate. Paramanu is the lowest quantum in our Vaisheshika Darshana. Beyond that, you cannot do any Vikalpa or you cannot divide it into Visheshya and even Visheshana or Guna and Guni. These kind of divisions are not possible. So it is said that Paramanu has that Guna itself has its Swarupa. This point actually is mentioned by Bhashyakara also in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya. In the Swayanjyotir Brahmanam, this point is actually talked about interestingly. So the Nayayikas, even the Prachina Nayayikas have accepted that the Paramanu itself is Nirguna. So that's what he is referring to that here. Gune api gunantara angikare tasmin api gunantara angikarat anavastha rupa doshapatte. So the Guna itself is Nirguna. Another way of looking at it. Even Paramanus are Nirguna because if you say Guna as a entity, it itself is Saguna or Nirguna means the Guna itself is Nirguna, but the Guna, whatever the Gunatvam is there, it is all only, it is Swarupa. It is not, there is no Vikalpa there. That is the idea here. So it is understood as Nirguna. So in the same manner, Nirdharmakadeva, Nirdharmakatvadeva Brahmani, Bodhakatvam Anandatvam cha na Bodhasya Anandasya cha Nirdharmakatvena tatra Bodhatvadi Dharma Sthiti Vyaghata. So you cannot say similarly when we say that Brahman is Bodha Swarupa or Ananda Swarupa, etc., that Bodha itself is a Vishesha. Again, the Bodhatvam is there as a Visheshana or Dharma. You cannot say there is no Dharma Dharmi Bheda there. Brahman itself is Bodha. Brahman itself is Ananda. There you cannot further create a Vikalpa that there is a Bodhatva Anandatva, or even if we say nirdharmaka, they say nirdharmakatva itself is a visheshana. No, that is all not correct. Okay. So if you say like that, again only this Vyaghata, the contradictions and all will start coming. Okay. You already say that Brahman is nirdharmaka, nirvishesha. In that you say now the nirdharmakatvam itself is a vishesha, means it is a contradiction, correct? So we cannot accept in the nirdharmakatva Brahman some dharma called bodhatvam, anandatvam, or even nirdharmakatvam itself is a dharma like this. One cannot say, one will have contradiction. So finally he is trying to explain this. Okay, here he is doing a beautiful way of explanation, which is in fact, which becomes even more clear nowadays with all the scientific knowledge in place. But even before that time, our people had a very good understanding about the reality of the objective world. So what he is saying here is atra idam vedyam. So this is what you have to understand here. Savayavasya vastunaha क्वचित् निरवयवे वस्तुनि विश्रान्तिः अवश्यम अभ्युपेया अन्यथा अनवस्था दोषा. Okay, so any savayava vastu, any entity which is having an avayava, which is having a part, let us say, all the entities which have parts should finally be understood to be resting on a partless entity. The partless alone can have parts. This may look like it is contradictory, but that is how it is, correct? So, savaya vastunaha, any entity with parts, what's in niravayave vastuni, in only a niravayava vastu, in a partless entity, only vishrantihi, it has to finally end up there only. Okay, it has to rest there. That this has to be definitely or avashyam abhyupeya is saying, definitely you have to accept that. Why? Otherwise, you will only end up in infinite regress. Because the savayava itself is there in another savayava. Savayava means there is no end to that. Okay. So that's why, see, even now he is trying to show practically this. Tathahi gataha savayava. So you start with gata, part, that is savayava. It has parts. And you can say kapalat dvaya sayyogavatvat sampratipannavat. So it is recognized. Sampratipatti means recognition you can take. So it is recognized as having kapaladvaya, two shards or whatever, two. They have come together and we have created a pot. Okay. Such a kapalaha savayavaha, the kapala also is having parts, correct? Mrit pinda arabdhatva. So the kapala itself has been created from mrit pinda, lump of clay. Then what? Such a mrit pindaha savayava. So the mrit pinda also, the lump of clay also is having parts, correct? Churna punjamayatva. Churna means you can take it as powder. Okay. It's a heap of this mud powder, correct? You can say. So churna punjamayatva. Okay. Then what? Such as churnaha savayava. Even that powder also is having parts. He is saying trasa renu mayatva. See, trasa renu is an interesting thing. Trasa renu means, see, sometimes when the sun is shining and you see the sun's rays, in that you can see some floating dust particles, correct? Very fine dust. In Sanskritam, that is called trasa renu. Renu itself means powder only, but here trasa renu means you can take it as fine dust, and normally that is seen in some sun's rays and all that. Even in a dark room, when the sun's rays are coming in that you can see certain things are floating, correct? You can say fine dust or dust mote and all that, a mote of dust. In English, we call it. So that is called trasa renu. Basically, you are saying even the powder is made up of further finer dust and all that. Only this much our people can say, but nowadays we can say it is molecules. Molecules go, then molecules are atoms. Atoms are subatomic particles, like that we can go nowadays. Okay. And such a rasarenuhu savayavaha. So the rasarenu also is savayava. Why? Now we are going into the Nayayika or Vaisheshika territory. He says Dvanuka arabdhatva. So the Vaisheshikas and Nayayikas, they accept that all the things which we see here, finally they have to go to the level of Paramanu because they are the original atomic theorists. So in that again there is a Trenuk, Dvanuk and all that. So the Trasarenu, at least we accept it, it is at the Trenuk level because they claim that Trenuk onwards only it is Pratyaksha Yogya. You can perceive it. Below that, it is only they are only doing some inference or that is their assumption. Okay. So they say there is a Dvanuk is there, and the Dvanuk also is Savayava according to the Vaisheshika. Why? Such a Dvanukaha Savayavaha Anudvaya Arabdhatvat. Even the Dvanuk is made up of two Anus. Okay. And Tacha Anudvayam Savayavam Anu Arabdhatvat. So the Anudvaya also, the two Anus coming together means again they are all, because they all start as Anus or Paramanus. So that is also okay. The Anu and then Sacha Anuhu Savaya. The Anu also is Savaya because Paramanudvaya Sanyoga Janyatva and Paramanu is the last. You have to rest there. Now the Paramanu itself cannot be called as Savayava. It is Niravayava only. Okay, they accept that. So such a Paramanuhu Niravayavaha tasyapi Savayavatve Anavastha dosha. So you have to stop. You have to stop. So any darshana you take, even modern science also, you have to come to a level where they say the observer collapses the quantum system and all that. Even the quantum system also they represent in terms of a transcendental wave and all that. So you have to come to a rest somewhere where it is further, you cannot break it into parts. Or even the quarks themselves, they are saying there are three fundamental quarks. They are the fundamental particles and all that. They cannot be broken down further. Correct? So here they are Niravayava. The Paramanu itself is Niravayava because you cannot break it further. If you try to break it further, then where do you stop? You have to keep on going. It will be infinite regress. Similarly, he says, Evam patadav api uhyam. So whichever thing you take, whether gatar, patar, any other object, of course, nowadays it is easy to understand. We all have studied some, at least high school physics means you have some idea, correct? And quantum physics also, little bit introduction everybody has. So we all understand everything in this world can be reduced to molecules, atoms, subatomic particles like that. In fact, the Maya part, all scientists understand very well. Because if fundamentally you have only 2-3 quarks, how did you get all this world which is so variegated? Means that is Maya only. It is only the whole macro world is an appearance. Because at the quantum level, everything is only space. In fact, 99% is space, they say. But we are having Vyavahara here, a solid, liquid, gas, etc. And also different types of materials are there. All this is a great Maya only. Bhagavan's Maya, it's all appearance. So, evam patadav api uhyam. Okay. So, yatha evam niravayavatvasya क्वचिद् विश्रांतिः तथा निर्धर्मकत्वस्यापि क्वचिद् विश्रांतिः अवश्यम अभ्युपगंतव्या. So now we discussed here about the avayava or parts, but dharma, dharma means some quality, you can say, correct? So the quality itself rests in a vastu which is having quality already or which does not have a quality. Like that we have to see now. So sadharmaka is there on, finally you have to say it has to rest in a nirdharmakatva vastu. Okay, anything which is having dharma also finally has to rest in an entity which does not have any dharma. This also you have to accept, like how we have demonstrated for the entities with parts. Similarly, you have to accept for entities with qualities also. And therefore what? Tacha nirdharmakatvam brahmani eva vishrantamiti. Nirdharmaka Brahma Siddhihi evam Niravayava Brahma Siddhischa. So that whatever is the Nirdharmaka entity, what is that? That is Brahman, because Shastra is revealing Brahman to us like that only. Correct? It is Nirgunam Brahma, Niravayavam Brahma, Nishkriyam Brahma, all this. There is no doubt about that. So, this Brahman, everything has to finally end up only in Brahman. And that Brahman itself is both Nirdharmaka and Niravayava. It does not have any qualities, it does not have any parts. It is a partless whole. That is this Brahman. And it is not separate from Atma, yourself, basically. So, this is how one has to understand this. Okay, after when we say this, the Purva Pakshi comes back. He says, Nacha Paramanuhu Niravayavaha Siddhaha iti praguktam iti vachyam. So, now we are saying Brahman is Niravayava and Nirdharmaka, correct? But in the whatever, in the illustration we gave, we said that Paramanu is Niravayava. So now, you have told Paramanu is Niravayava before, now you are saying Brahman is Niravayava. How can you say that? You cannot say that. Na vachyam. Don't ask like that. Why? Paramatena tatha upapadana. So we just showed the illustration by saying even Nayayika is accepting that. Correct? So nowadays we can also show many illustrations from science also. That doesn't mean we accept everything science has concluded. Okay. So paramatena tatha upapadana swamatena tu paramanu api paramanu. Okay. Anabhyupagamat Niravayavam Brahmaiva. So, in our own Siddhanta, we don't say Paramanu is the Jagat Karanam or anything, correct? Or even if we accept the Anuvada, the Anus themselves have to be created only by Brahman, correct? Brahman is finally the cause for us, Jagat Karanam, and that alone is Niravayava. So, we don't accept Paramanu, etc. Therefore, for us only in our Siddhanta, Brahman alone is Niravayava. Brahman alone is the Jagat Karanam. And what Brahmanaha Sakashadeva Anuadikramena Ghatotpatti. Okay, even if we accept the Anu, etc., he says only in the presence of Brahman, Brahmanaha Sakashat Eva. Only in the presence of Brahman. Brahman alone has to give existence to everything. None of the other things can exist independently. So, in the presence of Brahman alone, Anuadi Kramena, you can say, okay, initially the Akasha Anus are created from Brahman, etc. That is fine for us. We have no problem. Anyway, we say that Akasha is created from Brahma, Atma or Paramatma, which is Brahman. So, Anuadi Kramena Ghatotpatti. So, from there again, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. From the Prithvi, the Ghata has been made, etc. So, this is acceptable to us. Tatha Savisheshasya Jagataha Nirvisheshe Brahmani Vishrantihi Vaktavya iti Nirvishesha Brahma Siddhihi. So, this world, entire world is Savishesha. There is no doubt about that. Everything has some quality or the other in the world. All the objective things which we can perceive, they have qualities, but all of them have to finally end up in the Nirvishesha Brahma only. There only the Vishranti is there. You have to accept that, and therefore the Nirvishesham Brahma is established by this itself. And because of that only, correct? Tathahi Savishesha Prithvi Putra Vishranta. Okay, even in our Srishti Krama given in the Upanishads, and also there is a Laya Krama. Laya Krama also is given, correct? So, even in the Taittiriya Upanishad, we talk about Upasankramanam and all that. Etamannamayamatmanam upasankramati. Etam mano, all that is there. So, the Layakrama is also given even in Paingala Upanishad. In fact, the Layakrama is given. Recently, I had a class on that. So, the Prithvi has to resolve into water, but Prithvi has 5 gunas. Water has only 4, correct? That means it is resolving into something which is having lesser number of gunas. Then what? Tacha savishesham jalam. Jala has 4 visheshas or 4 gunas. Putra vishrantam agnau. Then that results into Agni. And Agni again has 3 visheshas. Tacha savishesha Agnihi putra vayu. That resolves into Vayu, which has only touch and sound. Correct? So 2 visheshas alone. And putra vayu. Okay, Vayu. And such a savisheshaha Vayu putra gagane. And the Vayu resolves into space which has only one Vishesha, which is Shabda Gunakam Akasham and all we say, correct? Tatra Savishesham Gaganam Putra Ahankare. So now this whole, of course, the Gagana and all here, if we take it as Tanmatra, then that Tanmatra, then there is a Sittik Krama there. And even in Gita also, Bhagavan talks about this, correct? So there is a Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayuhu Kammano Buddhirevacha Ahankara iti yamme bhinna Prakriti Rashthada, like that. But there, Bhagavan uses different terms, interestingly. Manaha, Buddhihi and Ahankara. But there, Bhashyakara says, Bhagavan is referring to the Karana by giving the Karya. And so in the Bhashya, he says, Manakaranam is Ahankara. So first the Ahankara is there. Means this, here Ahankara is the Ahankara at the cosmic level or the samashti, totality. The one who identifies with the total srishti, into that even the space resolves. That Ahankara, samashti Ahankara it is. And then what? Such a savishesha Ahankara kutra mahat tattve. So the Ahankara has to resolve into mahat, which is the intelligence. Okay, cosmic buddhi. In fact, in the Gita, Ahankara is referred to as Manaha and Mahat is referred to as Buddhihi there. And so the Mahat Tattvam is the Samashti intelligence or Buddhi. And then what? Tacha Savishesham Mahat Tattvam Kutra Avyakte. It ends up in Avyakta. And Avyakta in the Gita 7th chapter verse, I think it is 7.5 or something, is referred to as Ahankara there. Because Bhashyakara says Ahankara Sanyukta Avyakta. Only from there only all pravritti happens. Therefore, the prakriti also, the Bhagavan is referring to the Avyakta as Ahankara there. And so, like this Avyakta means unmanifest. Basically, everything goes into unmanifest. And that unmanifest itself, where it has to end up being, it is Brahman alone. So, Tacha Savishesham Avyaktam Putra Brahmani. It has to resolve into Brahman. And Tacha Brahma Putra Vishrantam. Where does the Brahman resolve? Means it doesn't resolve anywhere. Swasmin Neva. It is by itself. Sve Mahimni Pratishtitaha. Sve Mahimni Tishtati and all, there are Upanishad Vakyas are there. Sve Mahimni, this comes in Chandogya also, in the Bhuma Vidya, and also there is a Maitrayani Upanishad. Okay, there also this comes. Okay. Sve Mahimni Pratishtitam iti Shrute. Shruti itself says Brahman does not require any more Pratishta or any more Adhara. Adheya, everything else is Adheya, means Adheya only requires an Adhara. But Sarva Adha, that which is the Adhara for everything, it does not require any Adhara. It is independent. It is there by itself. So, this is how one has to understand. And in fact, it becomes subtler and subtler, correct? As we go towards the resolution of the Savishesha world. Therefore, what Kutaha Brahma Swasmin Neva Vishrantam? Why? How can you say that Brahman is resting on itself? Means nirvisheshatve, because this Brahman itself does not have any Vishesha or anything, so it doesn't require to be resting anywhere else. That is the beauty. Only if something is Savishesha, it requires that Vishesha has to rest somewhere. But Brahman being Nirvishesha, It can be by itself. It doesn't require any other adhara. So, savisheshatvehi brahmanaha kasminsid anyasminneva vishrantihi bhavet pritivyadivaditi alam prapanchena. So, only if you look at Brahman as savishesha, that savishesham Brahma has to rest somewhere. The visheshanas have to rest somewhere, like even in the case of Prithvi. But Brahman is nirvishesha, nirguna, and therefore be it can be in its own glory, correct? So swe mahimni tishtati, like even you rest in your sleep. Okay. So this topic is over. Now a new topic. What? Nirvisheshe brahmani pramana-vichArah. Tatra nirvisheshe vastuni soushuptika-pratyaksha-pramANa-vichArah. Okay, so now our author does an interesting analysis here, because the Purva Pakshi will now come back and say, all this is fine, you are just spinning some yarn, flying some kite. There is no pramana to establish nirvishesha vastu. Where is the pramana? Nirvishesha vastu cannot be established by any pramana. That is their argument. So we say, no, nirvishesham also can be established by pramana. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shruti, everything we will show to you. Okay, that is what now he is trying to do. In that first pramana vichara is soushuptika-pratyaksha-pramANa-vichArah. So how do we know there is a nirvishesha vastu? Because in the sleep we do experience it directly. How? Okay, that is what is now being analyzed. Let us see. Nanu pratyakshadi pramananam savishesha vishayatvat nirvishesha vastuni shabdaha pramanamiti vaktavyam tacha na sambhavati. Okay. See, the Purva Pakshi is now raising his hand in saying pratyakshadi pramananam savishesha vishayatvat. So pratyaksha and anumana, they can only reveal to you something which has some qualities, correct? Savishesha vishaya. All the pramana vishayas, the objects of cognition, which can be revealed through means of knowledge like sense perception and inference, they all should have some quality. Only the quality is cognized, in fact, really by the senses. Therefore, for the nirvishesha vastu, you have to say only shabda is the pramana. If you remove pratyaksha and anumana, etc., arthapati are also included in that, you can say. Okay. And anupalabdhi, they include in pratyaksha itself. Upamana also is based on pratyaksha. Without pratyaksha, you cannot compare. Comparison also is between qualities, correct? So, all the pramanas in general reveal only entities which have qualities. So, now what about Shabda means? So, we are saying, okay, but Shruti is revealing. If you say even that is not possible, he says, okay. So, nirvishesha vastuni Shabda pramanamiti vaktavyam. So, you have to say Shabda alone is the pramana. But even that he says, tachana sambhavati, even that is not possible. Why? He says, nirvisheshe vastuni shabdasyapi pravritti ayoga. Even Shabda cannot have any pravritti, it cannot reveal. Why? The meaning of any word can only be jati, guna, kriya or sambandha. This is the general understanding. Okay. Words can only reveal either a category or a species or a genus, correct? Which is jati, or a quality guna, or kriya an action, or sambandha which is relationship. So words cannot reveal anything other than this. Therefore, even Shabda does not have any pravritti towards nirvishesha vastu. So how are you going to establish your nirvishesha vastu? Through pramana. Therefore he says nishpramanakam eva nirvishesham brahma iti. So nirvishesham brahma is nishpramanakam. It does not have any pramana. And you are only just kapola kalpita. Whatever you are saying, you are just imagining something. Okay, then what? Nacha nirvishesha vastu prasadhana para yuktayaha darshita iti vachyam. You can also not say that I have shown you some yukti, some logic that nirvishesha vastu can be there, correct? To establish the nirvishesha vastu, I have given you some logic. Even that you cannot say. Na vachyam. Why? Yukti namapi savishesha vishayatvena nirvisheshe yukti prasarana yoga. So even the yukti also can only reveal, any logic, reasoning also can only reveal savishesha vastu. With reference to the nirvishesha, the yukti also cannot have any prasarana, means it cannot enter there, it cannot approach. It has in its range, there is only savishesha vastu. Therefore what? Finally what? Nacha shastram pramanam darshitam iti vachyam. You cannot also say I have shown some shastra vakyas, etc. Why? Shabda rupasya tasya shastrasya nirvishesha vishayatva yogasya uktatvaditi. So I already told you, Shabda cannot reveal nirvishesha vastu. Don't talk about shastra now. Don't say that I have shown you shastra. Why? Shastra also is Shabda only. Correct? It is Shabda Rupa. It is in the form of words. And words can only reveal jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. Therefore, this nirvishesha vishaya cannot be revealed by shastra also. So in this way, it is nishpramanakam. You cannot establish it by any valid means of knowledge. Iti chet, what ma evam. If you say like that, no, it is not in that in that manner or in this way. Why? Because we are saying now savishesha iva nirvishepi vastuni pratyaksha anumana shabda pramana pravritti sambhava. We say that even the savishesha vastu can be established using pratyaksha and anumana and shabda. Okay, that is what we are going to show now. So therefore, what tathahi sushuptyadishu kasyapi visheshasya agrahanat tatkalikam pratyaksham nirvishesha vishayakam eva. So we are saying in the sushupti, everybody has common anubhava. What? I did not know anything. I do not know myself. I did not know anything else also, but I am there. That much I can say. I slept, correct? That continuity of I nobody denies. And also after getting up, I say I did not know anything. There is an anubhava. The smaranam of that anubhava is there. The recollection, correct? So this is famously talked about by Bhashyakara also in the, even in the Dakshinamurti Stotra and other places in the Bhashya. So even in the, again, Swayam Jyotir Brahmanam, the Sushupti is analyzed a lot. Even there, this Na Kinchid Avedisham and all, we'll see that. So I did not know anything is talked about, is shown to represent that Brahman is Advayam, right? Nirvishesham, etc. So Sushuptyadishu Kasyapi Visheshasya Agrahana. So we did not cognize any quality or anything other, any other thing. In fact, we didn't cognize ourselves also. Tatkalikam pratyaksham, whatever anubhava you had at that time, it is only pointing to a nirvishesha vishayakam eva. It is with reference to a nirvishesha entity without any qualities. Now the Puravashi comes back. He says, what? Tadanim pratyaksham eva nasti. So he says, no. How can you say there is pratyaksha and sushupti? For pratyaksha, you require manas and indriya, etc. But nothing, all the manas, indriya and all are resolved there, means we say sakshi pratyaksha is still accepted. Understand that. Sakshi does not require any manas, indriya, etc. In fact, whatever is happening in your own mind, we say it is known only through sakshi pratyaksha, correct? Sukha, dukkadi, etc. are all witness perception, we call it. Okay. Sakshi pratyaksham has to be accepted. Therefore, you cannot say there is no pratyaksha at all. So, tadanim pratyakshameva nasti iti na vachyam. You cannot say that. Why? Na kinchid avedisham iti uttita smaranena tadhetoho nirvishesha pratyakshasya anumiyamanatvat. So once I get up, I say I did not know anything, I slept well, etc. Now, how can you remember this or recollect this? Correct? So that is called pratyabhijna, correct? pragaswapsamiti prabodha samaye yah pratyabhijñāyate. So this is where, so I did not know anything, I slept well, etc. You have pratyabhijñā or smarana. You are able to recollect that, and there has to be a hetu for that. Because without any anubhava, nobody can have any smarana. Correct? All smarana is anubhava purvakam. Therefore, we have to say there has to be a cause or a reason for having that memory, which is that anubhava. And what anubhava it is? It is only nirvishesha anubhava. Nirvishesha-pratyakshasya anumiyamanatva. Therefore, from this we can infer that pratyaksha must have happened. Sakshi pratyaksha must have happened during deep sleep also. But there was no mind to really recognize it then and there, but we remember it once we get up. Okay. So from the remembering only, from the recollection only, we can infer that anubhava must have taken place. Nahi anubhavam vina smaranam upapadyate kasyachidapi vastunaha. So this is he stating now generally. So there cannot be any memory without any experience. So whatever you have experienced only you can remember. Further what? Kincha shushuptau tvaya ke vishesha jnata iti Vishnumitrena prishtaha devadattaha tam prati vakti na kepi iti. So if Vishnumitra is asking, okay, or if Devadatta is asked by Vishnumitra in the Sushupti, what Visheshas or qualities or dharmas were known by you, what does Devadatta say? To whom he has to say, na kepi, I did not know anything. That's all one can say, correct? Even here Purva Pakshi doesn't accept. He says, Ime Visheshaha Maya Jnata iti Prativakti iti. So they say, no, I knew all these Visheshas. Why can't somebody say like that? Okay. Purva Pakshi can come. Not for everybody, it is not universal. Somebody can sleep and also get up and say, I experienced this in sleep. Some Vishesha. Why can't it be like that? Means you can't say that. Na vachyam. Why? Anubhava virodha. It is Anubhava virodha. It is against everybody's experience, because in deep sleep, nobody can say that I knew something, some vishesha or some quality. It is uniformly that everybody gets up and says, I did not know anything only. Okay. They cannot say that I knew some vishesha in deep sleep also. It is Anubhava virodha. Or even if somebody says that, then what? Tad vakyasya mrisha vakyatvacha, that fellow is only fooling you. It is not true. Somebody can get up and say that, but then it cannot be taken as the truth. They are just saying something false. Mrisha vakya. Therefore what? Tacha maya na kepi vishesha jnata iti vachanam kim anubhava purvakam uta ananubhava purvakam. Okay, now further we are asking, I did not know anything in deep sleep. That is the experience of everybody. Okay. That itself, correct? I did not know any quality or any vishesha in deep sleep. That is based on anubhava or not. It is based on your own experience, or it is not based on any experience. Now, adye kim vishayakaha saha anubhavaha. If you say it is based on experience, you cannot say it is not based on any experience. That doesn't make any sense. So you have to say it is based on experience. Now, what is the nature of that experience then? So, kim vishayakaha. What is the vishaya for that anubhava? Why we are asking this? Because nacha vishesha abhava vishayakaha iti vachyam. You cannot say that there is no vishaya for that abhava. Again, that also you cannot say. Kim sa vishesha bhavaha. Okay, or even if you say it is somebody, you are cognizing the abhava of visheshas in deep sleep. Okay, absence of any vishesha. We do not know any vishesha, but he does not want to accept that that points to a nirvishesha vastu. So again, the Purva Pakshi is saying it is Vishesha Abhava is what you are cognizing. Okay. So Vishesha Abhava Vishekaha, if he says that, even if he says that, what do we say? This Vishesha Abhava is Adhikarana or Niradhikarana, because any Abhava must have an Anuyogi, a Adhikarana has to be there. Abhava means Pratiyogi and Anuyogi has to be there. All Visheshas are Pratiyogi here. But what is the Anuyogi? Where is the Adhikarana? Or you say there is no Adhikarana at all. Now, Adye, so if you say there is an Adhikarana for knowing this Vishesha Bhava, so Adye yatra Vishesha Abhava Abhavaha Anubhutaha Tad Adhikaranam Kim Savishesham Uta Nirvishesham. So again here they cannot say it is Niradhikarana. Accepting the first paksha, that is Adye, wherever the Vishesha Abhava is there, was experienced, that Adhikarana itself, it is Savishesha or Nirvishesha. That question we are asking. Of course, our Purva Bakshi will say it is Savishesha, correct? So he is saying no, Adye Vyaghataha. If you say it is Savishesha, how can Savishesha Vastu have Vishesha Abhava? It has to. So that itself is contradiction. So Savisheshasya Vishesha Abhava Adhikaranatva Ayoga. So Savishesha Vastu cannot have a general Vishesha Abhava as it cannot be the Adhikarana for a Vishesha Abhava. It is contradictory. It is meaningless. And Dvitiye, if you say it is Nirvishesha, then what do we say? We raise our hand. Hey, Nirvishesham Vastu Siddhameva. Then you have also now accepted that Nirvishesha Vastu is there, and that is what is experienced in the deep sleep and then remembered. Therefore, Tadvachanam Ananubhava Purvakamiti Vikalpe. Okay, if you say no, we don't accept any Anubhava. Even whatever you get up and say, it is all not based on any real Anubhava. If you say that what? So Tadvachanam Ananubhava Purvakamiti Vikalpe, if you take that Vikalpa, that option, let us say, then what? Tadvachanasya Apramanikatvam Eva Apramanikatvam Eva Avagatam or Agatam. So even if you say this is all, whatever we get up and say is not based on any Anubhava, etc., that we cannot accept. It is Apramanika. What is the Pramana to say that it is not based on any Anubhava? You cannot show anywhere that you are having any memory which is based, even if you, then that memory will become erroneous. That's all. It's not a real memory. But in this case, it is not like that. It is based on everybody's Anubhava, and therefore you cannot say it is Ananubhava Purvaka. That is Apramanika. Okay, so therefore what? Tasmat soushuptika-pratyaksha nirvishesha vastu siddhihi. So from the soushuptika-pratyaksha only, we can establish that nirvishesha vastu is there. Whatever this sakshi pratyaksha which is there during sushupti, and due to which we are able to recollect our sleep, whether I slept well or not, etc., I did not know anything. All this recollection, pratyabhijna, itself points to the nirvishesha vastu, and that nirvishesha vastu is yourself. It is not separate from you. That is your reality. In fact, whatever is there in sushupti alone is the reality. The swapna and jagrat are all only dvaitam iva. Upanishad itself says, correct? Yatra dvaitam iva pashyati. It is all only iva. And even right now also, your Swarupa is that only. You are not an entity in space-time. The very thought that I am in space-time is the problem. If you think you are an entity in space-time, you are a samsari. You will become alpa. Correct? You are limited. You are wanting. But what is your reality? Your reality is that you are the very ashraya. You are the nirvisheshe ashraya for the entire savishesha jagat, including space, time, etc. Space, time is in you. And that is knowledge. That knowledge has to be clear. That is jnanam. So that jnanam alone, one has to have clarity. So with this particular topic is over. The next topic is what? Nirvishesha vastuni anumana-pramana-vichArah. This we will take up in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.